Natural disasters can turn your world upside down, literally and figuratively. Travel Television examines the impact and response to Hurricane Katrina, the Joplin tornado, and Hurricane Sandy in this episode.
The St. Bernard Community Center, formed after Katrina, has continued to serve and support the community.
I'm glad that you came to this center because you actually came to one of the best centers in the area, in the region, because one of the things that you see here, you might see the food, and compared to other places in the area, most places in the area might provide you with coming once a month to at most twice a month. But here they let you come once a week to get food. But food, it doesn't just stop at the food. That's one resource in itself. But while you're here, you can also get clothes from Miss Elaine. She provides clothes. All you have to do is sign in and look through and browse through. They provide access to social programs like Medicaid and food stamp program, and they also provide a computer lab, so you can actually go online and take care of stuff, send resumes and things like that, which is more fulfilling for people especially when you need help. When you need a fax machine, they provide that. They provide all these little things that people may or may not know about, but it's here at the Community Center of St. Bernard. And when people come here, they find a resource that is more than just the food, and that's one of the things that got me here and keeps me here.
There's a food bank, computers to use, clothing, books, furnishings for the home, and more, much more.
We're always needing help, because we do a lot of reach out here, and we're always looking for more help to expand and then to help more in the community.
Nice.
And if you need anything like that, I am the volunteer coordinator.
And I had basically made a promise to God that once I was able to get out of the struggle, that I would pay back those that helped me. And this is one of the places that helped me tremendously.
You are watching Travel Television and the 7th anniversary of Katrina.
Came from Greenfield Hill Congregational Church, and our pastor, Alita Ward, a lot of us have been reaching out to her and wanted to get down to the beach area to help the rest of our community, and she sent an email around last night saying that she had gotten permission for us to come down and help, and so we gathered up some people and came down to help dig out.
Everything was pretty much covered in silt and moldy, and just trying to salvage what I can right now and move out more or less. In the meantime, I have a friend on campus at Fairfield that's housing me, but I might commute from my aunt's house in Westport. Thank God I have a family nearby. Not everyone's as lucky as me.
I'm so happy to have some of these volunteers here today. We tried to get workers down here and we just couldn't get anyone till Wednesday, and the people from Greenfield Congregational Church called, and we have a whole ton of kids that are here and parents that are here helping, doing whatever we can, and every little bit counts.
We basically are removing a lot of the sand away from the house so that the trucks can push the sand back down to the beach.
I think it's the right thing to do. Like, people need a hand here, and our house wasn't affected by this, and these houses got hit so hard, and I feel really bad. So I feel like it's not our duty, but we should feel the need. We should come help and help the people that need it more than us.
I would tell them to accept the help that people offer, because I know sometimes it's hard to do that. Pride kind of gets in the way, or you feel like it's kind of a bother, but I think in general the people in the town that don't live in the beach area really want to help. They want to know what people need.
And we came down here to help clean out some of the houses, clear some sand, so they can hopefully move back in.
We really appreciate the community coming together and helping us out and helping out the whole area. We know everyone's been affected and they're really trying hard to make it go easy. We appreciate it. We're all trying to help out too. National Guard came down. It's a big community thing. Everyone's coming together to make sure this is fixed as soon as possible.
I think people want to help because they love Fairfield, and I think our church is very close and they have a great community, and So whenever something happens to someone in our church or our church community, we feel like they're part of our family. So what happens to them happens to us.
I want to help because, you know, I live close to the water too, but not as close as some of these people do, and I just feel like somebody should be helping them, and I feel great. It's good use of the day instead of just sitting at home waiting for the power to come back.
What makes me feel good, I feel like I'm accomplishing something. Like, we just moved a giant pile of sand from the front of the house, and like looking at everything here, it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but like knowing I helped with just that much alone, I felt pretty good about it. So I feel like if people keep doing that, like taking the little steps, we'll make a lot of progress eventually.
Thank you very much. We all appreciate it. We're just trying to get everything moved out as fast as possible so everyone can work here and restore the beach, because we'd all love to come back here. It's beautiful.
Join Katie Daly, host of Give and Getaway Volunteer Vacations, as she takes viewers all over the world to experience exciting volunteer opportunities. Give and Getaway is a great way for people to learn more about new places and cultures, all while giving back to the global community. In this installment, Katie travels first to Thailand to teach English and computer skills, and next to the small island country of Sri Lanka to assist at a captive elephant sanctuary. Each episode of Give and Getaway not only shows you what it's like to be a volunteer abroad, but helps you discover what makes each country unique as well.
Hi, I'm Katie Daly. Welcome to Give and Getaway Volunteer Vacations. It's a show that takes you across the world to find new experiences in new places, all while giving back to the global community. In this episode, we work with Open Mind projects in Thailand to teach English and technical skills to local trainees. We get a chance to put some of our own skills to good use while helping students further their education. Stay tuned, only on Give and Getaway. Welcome to Nong Khai, Thailand, a northeastern town that sits along the beautiful Mekong River on the border with Laos. It's a colorful community that mixes tradition and originality and breathes a life of its very own. And this is where I've come to teach English and computer skills. Although I'll quickly find out that I've got some learning to do myself. Wait, I know how to say two. Not really sure where to start with this.
I'll be spending the next 2 weeks working with Open Mind Projects, an organization that aims to provide resources and motivation as teaching tools for underprivileged communities, which was also founded right here in Nong Khai. It's here that two friends from opposite sides of the world recognized there was a digital divide in this region and set out to launch grassroots computer training projects. Meet Sven and Toto, the founders of Open Mind Projects.
We want to open the minds of local people, that was the original ambition, to knowledge. And the original idea was also to help them to use IT. Because in poor countries, there is always a shortage of qualified teachers. That is not because the teachers lack ambition, but they lack resources. You will meet a teacher in a village who is teaching English, but cannot speak English to you. So I was interested in seeing how you could use IT as a way, as a complement to a resource to help poor people, kids, students, to learn subjects that they would otherwise not really find it very easy to learn, like English.
And since its creation in 2001, the organization has expanded to welcome volunteers from all across the world and to introduce new learning initiatives in a variety of fields, including primary and advanced English, health, and job skills. Open Mind matches volunteers with projects based on their individual skills. But before I can find out what my project will be, I'm off to some training. I decided to opt in for the short training course to get some ideas for how to teach. But on top of that, we're told that since we're teaching to mostly Thai students, we need to understand some basics of Thai language and culture
to open up real communication.
Yes. Salut.
Salut. Salut.
Yeah, I think you know already.
But most volunteers have found the best way to learn is just through trial and error.
First tuk-tuk ride. Have to practice our Thai and hopefully not get overcharged.
Hi, Talat Hasari.
For how many of us? 200. No, so each. Oh, 20 baht.
Roy.
Right? Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. 100 baht. That's good.
After haggling our first tuk-tuk ride, we're off to the market. Today's real-world tests give us a good chance to explore Nong Khai outside of the classroom.
And now we have to practice our Thai and try and figure out what certain things are called, like on our list. It's basically a scavenger hunt. Sila. Sila. Alright. Oh, okay. How about this?
รองเท้า
รองเท้ารองเท้ารองเท้ารองเท้ารองเท้ารองเท้ารองเท้า
Since I found everything on my list, that leaves me time to shop. But it's a little quirkier than an outlet mall. And let's not forget, Thailand is famous for its cuisine. So it's a must that I try my hand with some recipes.
It's spicy?
Maybe a little spicy? I don't think it's too bad. It's delicious.
These experiences prove that we need to do some learning ourselves about our host country before we can expect to make our own contributions. I'm already feeling a little bit more confident to get into my teaching training. Coming next on Give and Get Away, we get a lesson in teaching and must put our skills to the test by leading a lesson ourselves. Coming up next, only on Give and Get Away.
Hi, I'm Carrie Keenan with Travel Television, and with me today I have Andrea Sedlock from the Mpambara Cox Foundation. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
And if you could start and tell us a little bit about your foundation.
Sure. Our foundation, we work on education. Our overall goal is to have every child complete a full course of primary education.
That sounds great. Can you tell us a little bit about the background of the program?
Sure. Our president and founder, Mpambara Cox, was giving a spelling test in her son's school where she volunteered every week back in 2008 in Gaithersburg, Maryland. She was working with a child who was normally very bright and who would have normally aced the test. But on this morning, he was having a really hard time coming up with the right spellings. So she eventually asked him, what's wrong? And he said, I'm really hungry. And she said, well, didn't you eat breakfast this morning? And he said, no, I wanted McDonald's and my mom wouldn't take me to McDonald's, so I refused to eat what was offered to me. So that was the initial catalyst that got her starting to think about where she was originally from and the children there and how they must feel at school every day when they're really hungry. And so that prompted her to take a trip back to Uganda and to visit actually 21 schools in the city where she's from. And what she found there was some pretty dire conditions. She found half-empty classrooms, that 3 out of 4 children will drop out by the 4th grade or by the time they're 10 years old, lack of scholastic materials, and so on and so forth. So she came back to the United States knowing that she had to do something, not only for the kids in Uganda, but also tying it in with the U.S. students. She wanted to show them appreciation for the fact that breakfast is not a given in other parts of the world.
So that led into a school partnership program.
Correct. So we have the USASPI, which is the United States Africa Schools Partnering Initiative, and our goal is to get a partner in the United States for all of our 21 partner schools in Uganda. That program consists of many different facets and can actually be customized for school, or we have churches and religious organizations who also serve as school partners. We do pen paling programs, collecting backpacks, and also volunteer trips every year in the summer.
Oh wow, so what has been your personal experience with this?
I have visited Uganda every year since 2009, and a lot of times we serve in the primary schools working with the 5th through 7th graders, and we tutor them in English. So we take teachers from our partner schools, we've taken some principals before, and our goal is to encourage the students to stay in school. We also get to serve the porridge every day since that's a major component of our programs, and just work in the classrooms tutoring the students on English.
That sounds great. Tell me a little bit more about this porridge program.
The 1030 Porridge program was started as a result of Anita visiting the schools in Uganda and realizing that most of the kids do not have dinner in the evenings and very few have breakfast in the mornings. So she decided that the main component should be a school feeding program. Mm-hmm. So every morning at 10:30 in our 8 partner schools that are currently partnered with U.S. organizations, there is a cup of maize porridge that is served to each student. In the schools that have this program, we've seen increased attendance by as much as 23%, reduced dropout rates by 47%, and a dramatic decrease in sickness-related absenteeism.
Wow, that sounds like a great program. All right, so what are some of the other initiatives that Mpambara associates with?
We also have the WISE program, which is the Women in Support of Education. It's a microfinance and empowerment initiative. It's not just an average microloan because we have to tie in our mission of education. So we select mothers within our partner schools who have students in our schools to receive a one-time microloan from a U.S. donor. And our program is unique because the U.S. donor then can develop a relationship with their wise woman. They can write letters. You can even go to visit the woman that you sponsor. Once the woman receives the loan, she is able to start a small business. As a result of receiving the loan, we require our mothers to prioritize education in the home. So they must keep their children in school, they must maintain regular attendance, they must have clean uniforms, and they themselves must commit to taking financial literacy and literacy classes.
Wow, sounds like an excellent program. I understand there's another one, Global Fellows?
Yes. Our Global Fellows program was started, actually I started it as a result of visiting in 2010. And my concern was, okay, now we have the students coming to school as a result of our porridge program, but what happens when they graduate elementary school? Because the families live on less than $1 a day, many of them can't even afford food, as we've discussed, so they certainly can't afford the cost of a secondary or high school education. So for a $35 a month fee, a U.S. donor can sponsor a student to continue their education in high school. The program also encompasses a mentoring and guidance component where the student has career guidance and things like that as part of the program.
So I understand that there was a church in the area, Journey's Crossing Church, that has gone over to Uganda. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Sure. Journey's Crossing is one of our successful partnerships. They are partnered with Kingoma Primary School in Kabale, Uganda. They have been sponsoring the 1030 Porridge program there and feeding the kids at school each day since 2008. In 2009, they were the first inaugural team to go over with the Mpambara Cox Foundation to actually visit and work in their partner school. In 2009, they threw a vacation Bible school for the entire school where they did a Bible lesson, songs, games, and crafts. They sent a second team in 2011, and this time they focused more on the teaching aspect. So a team of 12 individuals went over, many of them teachers, and they worked in the classrooms with their partner students, establishing a personal relationship beyond the pen paling component of the program. So they were able to serve porridge each day to the students that they sponsor, and also just really encourage the students to stay in school and to help the older kids with their English skills.
That sounds great. It sounds like they're very involved with the program.
Yes.
To promote their school partnership program, the Mpambara Cox Foundation participated at the MLK Day of Service 2012. Students in the U.S. were able to write pen pal letters and to even Skype with the children in Uganda. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today. If you'd like more information, go to the website www.mcoxfoundation.org. And for Travel Television, I'm Carrie Keenan.
Halong Bay. It means descending Dragon Bay, and the tall islands that stick up from these waters, not to mention the ships that float in them, make it feel like a mythical place. Halong Bay is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the scenery alone makes it a site you do not want to miss during any trip to Vietnam. But it's not just a nice place for a picture. Houseboat villages like this one aren't an uncommon sight in Southeast Asia, but to see them here makes the bay not just a beautiful experience, but a cultural one as well. One of the best ways to really get that experience is to travel around the bay like one of the locals. If you're like me, and you like a little physical activity in your travels, you can get your exercise down here. Don't be surprised if you don't get very far, or need to ask someone half your size for a little help. You'll see some nice beaches along the bay, but they can get pretty busy. You'll still want to stop, put your feet up, and lift them off the ground.
We hopped off our junk to explore one of the largest caves in Halong Bay. Follow me as we explore together.
This grotto is one of Halong Bay's most popular, and you've got to travel up a little ways to get to it.
There's only about 100 steps from the bottom to the mouth of the cave, so for most people it's not that challenging, although you might get a little out of breath if you try to talk as you walk.
The cave's name means Cave of Surprises, but that doesn't mean there's anything ominous around the corners, just a geological wonder with a few colorful highlights. There's a lot more to Halong Bay than I could show you in just a few minutes, so if you're lucky enough to travel to Vietnam, take my word, don't miss it.
My name is Jeremiah Olugabo. I am a Neighborhood Task Force Initiative crew member. I'm working in the Brighton Beach area of Brooklyn, one of the most devastated neighborhoods from the Hurricane Sandy that took place last November. Before I was hired, I wasn't an American citizen. So I told them I wasn't a citizen at that time, but a week from that time I was going to become a citizen. So I was told by FEMA that I had the opportunity, and I was given the opportunity to go ahead and carry out or to be involved in the swearing-in ceremony that took place on the 8th of January. So after the swearing-in ceremony, I was finally hired by FEMA to work as a community relations specialist. As a Neighborhood Task Force Initiative member, I go into communities around here, that's in Brighton Beach neighborhood, wherever I'm told to go by my team lead. I help to look around the neighborhood and monitor situations and see the changes that are taking place in the neighborhood and how Brighton Beach, for example, is getting back on its feet after the storm. My most memorable moment was where a picture of me was being taken in front of the American flag, and I was being sworn in as an American citizen who was going to work for FEMA.
This December, Travel Television aired its first story about Hurricane Sandy relief and the volunteer efforts. We are hoping to bring you a story each month about the hurricane relief efforts, and will use our program as a platform for them. We are reaching out to volunteers who are part of these efforts because your stories are so important, and your videos will illustrate the amazing spirit of those affected by Sandy and the volunteers who have banded together to help one another. The videos can come to us via iPhone or other video versions. We would like to work together to tell these amazing stories. Those outside the East Coast area need to know about both the recovery and the accomplishments of the volunteers. Please contact Steve at traveltelevision.org.